watching NotesIn9.
Hello, and welcome to NotesIn9. I'm David Leedy. Episode 186, Getting Started with XPages and Bluemix, Part 3. He Shoots, He Scores, a Bluemix hat trick. All right, again, this is the third in a series of Bluemix. Mark E. Roden came on the show a little while back to talk about Bluemix, so there's another example out there. DeveloperWorks Premium is something you might want to look into if you're interested in Bluemix, and especially in tying it into software services. The XPages Runtime and Domino service, which is just an experimental but small part of Bluemix, is available throughout the cloud. And I'm not really highlighting this because there's kind of an XPages focus at the moment. But Bluemix has a lot of other things. Quite honestly, I'd love to play with they have like just start doing Java web programming. They would get up and running quicker, and I have to figure out how to do that, or so I'm kind of interested in giving that a shot just to play with it. And if you haven't seen it yet, this on DeveloperWorks is this developer.ibm.com/answers. So you might want to check that out if you have any questions on Bluemix or I guess some of the other IBM technologies. It's kind of like Stack Overflow, but internal to IBM. For XPages, I recommend you go to Stack Overflow. That's the place to be there. I don't think there's too much actual XPages questions on this developer answers thing right now, other than the Bluemix related ones. But again, if you do have Bluemix questions, you might want to give that a shot. In this show, Oliver Busse comes back on, and he's at ZeroMancer1972 on Twitter, so he's very active there. He's a great friend and an active member of the OpenNTF.org site. I guess I should probably put the full domain on there. But he's a good help there. He's an XPages developer. Has done a lot with Bootstrap. His website's oliverbusse.de. And he's an IBM champion, clearly because of this great series that he's provided to us. And Champion is still open, so please vote for him if you so choose. Okay, so with all that being said, let's go to Oliver's third and final part of his Getting Started with Bluemix demonstration.
Hello everyone. This is Oliver Busse again. This is the third part of the video series that explains and shows you how to work, how to develop with XPages for the IBM Bluemix platform. The first two videos I showed you how to get started, what you need to deploy an XPages application on Bluemix. The second part was about how to separate your design from the data and access your data while developing, and of course when deploying the application. And I showed you a smart way that I do the data separation in a more convenient way than it is explained in the documentation of the Bluemix pages. The third part is the missing part that answers the question, what if my application uses external libraries, OSGI plugins, extensions, you name it, like the OpenNTF Domino API, the Bootstrap for XPages plugin, or the other genius OSGI stuff that is available on OpenNTF, and maybe your own libraries. I know some guys who created own OSGI plugins and libraries and use them excessively in their applications, and they want to reuse it, of course, on the Bluemix platform. So thanks to Martin Donnelly, greetings to Ireland. I was able to manage this. This is very simple. It's by far too simple to be true, but it's really simple to put plugins or to extend the runtime on Bluemix with your own OSGI stuff. In my example, I want to show you how to use the OpenNTF Domino API because I think this is the most wanted and the most versatile extension that I at least want to use in my applications. So this is not the one. My example is my bookmark NSF, my bookmarks database. So maybe you saw it. I have a bookmarks page on my own host. This is not Bluemix. This is my own simple Domino host. and I just converted it on to run on Bluemix. I'll show you that version. And it looks like this. It looks a bit different. It's not that black one. This is something like this looks like a material design. It's quite nice. So, of course, this is using different data sources. One is in one database, which is on my own host, and this one uses a separate data source, of course. And in the designer, you can see it. This is the data part, and this is the XSP, the XPages design part. So, nevertheless, this application uses the Domino API for some reason. For example, when I log in as an user, this is, by the way, the login form of the Bluemix environment. Okay. I never used that login here before. I hope I got it right. Oh god. No, I don't know the login. I have to show you that on another browser where the password is stored. Anyway, I'm using the ODA for computation of my of my username and some environmental informations to get user roles and to display simply the username. I use the ODA part that returns a session object, not the xlib util, but the XSP util, which is part of the OpenNTF API. I'll show you the sources later. So nothing more and nothing less. It's just a basic example how to use extensions. And this is running on Bluemix, and it's working. It's great. Okay, forget it. I can also show you that on my local machine. Okay, when using an extension, of course, you have to activate the extension that you want to use. Don't bother the extension library. It's available on Bluemix by default, of course. And this is the activated OpenNTF Domino API for the design time and, of course, for the server side. Okay, this one is activated and it's used. If it was not available, I would get an error that this library cannot be found, but it could be found. I hope you remember my first video where I showed you how to deploy the application, to set it up and deploy it. I also told you that the deployment function just creates a folder, asks you for a folder prior the deployment, where to store a copy of the database and where to store the manifest YML file and so on and so on. I'll show you the folder where this application is stored. It's stored under Git and it's bookmarks. And no, this is not the one. This is the source code. XSP bookmarks. This is the folder. And the trick to deploy external libraries is to create a folder under this folder. This is not what the designer plugin will do. It won't, definitely not. You have to create the folder for yourself. It's called shared-plugins. It must be named shared-plugins. Inside that folder, I put several jar files. Where do these jar files come from? Very easy. I downloaded the OpenNTF Domino API. Inside there's an update site and there's a plugins folder. Maybe the update site folder itself is also zipped. Just unzip it to a folder where you want. Name it maybe like this one, update site, and you will find the structure that is shown here. The key part is the plugins folder. The features folder is not interesting. The plugins folder is interesting. So you just select all those jar files, copy them to that shared plugins folder on your Bluemix deployment folder, and start the procedure that I showed you in the first video using the Cloud Foundry command line. So if you push the application via the Cloud Foundry command line, then this folder is also published. I don't want to show you that live, but I can show you this on my blog post because I did a screenshot of how it looks like. From the first video, maybe you remember those messages that you can see when using the CF tool. And when you have a shared plugins folder, then you can see it's automatically detecting it, and it says, okay, I'm installing and pushing the OSGI stuff into the runtime, the XSP runtime. Yep, this is great. This is working. Yeah, almost automatically. This is really great. So this is the corresponding blog post on my site using plugins in the XPages application on Bluemix, which describes it. Again, how to do it. Just create that folder, put your extensions, the jar files from your extension, usually located in the plugins folder of your OSGI plugin. Just copy them there. You don't have to create subfolders. Just copy them all in that one folder, and the CF tool will deploy it and set the runtime up to use those extensions. And to prove that my application really uses the OpenNTF API, I will show you the navigation bean, the navigation footer bean, which is computing the bottom line where the username was displayed. And it looks like this. And as you can see, I'm not using the what's it called? The xlib util stuff to compute the session and something. I'm using the XSP util stuff that directly comes out of the OpenNTF Domino API, and it works without errors. Great stuff. As I see it here, another thing I mentioned in the first blog post of this tool, you saw that you can, of course, log into your XPage application. The login depends on your username. No, this is your username. The keyword of the password. And you can also manage additional web users via this page. When you log into your application, please make sure that you don't use a custom login form or a custom XPage like I do on my homepage. When I want to log in, I'm calling a login XSP page and I authenticate, I post data against the names NSF. I just created a form that says action/names NSF question mark login method post blah blah blah, and I post those fields username and password, which is working perfectly on on-prem runtime, not on Bluemix. On Bluemix, you are forced to use the default login that you are known from the basic one by calling the NSF name and the URL parameter login. And then with this login page from Bluemix will show up and you have to log in with your credentials. This is also different from your on-premises behavior, and and maybe you are not used to it. Okay. With that being said, feel free to contact me if you have any questions or problems. And thank you for your time, and enjoy XPages on Bluemix. Bye-bye.
And that's the demo. I really thank Oliver for coming on and doing this show. I appreciate it. I'm sure it's been helpful to others, and I can't wait to see him back to see what he's working on next. If you have any questions for me, here's my contact information, and I thank you for your time.